First, we need to check the engine oil and the radiator of the superstructure engine. This requires the use of a special key on the key ring for the superstructure engine doors. Notice there is no pump drive. The pumps are driven directly off the flywheel. The batteries for the superstructure are under this cover and need to be inspected for water and tightness of connections. The hydraulic oil level should be midway in the sight glass, with the boom fully lowered and retracted. The hoist oil level should be midway between the max and min markings on the sight glass. 90 weight is used here and can be added if necessary by removing the upper banjo fitting. Notice the grease points for the roller bearings, one front and one to the rear. Also on the right side is the grease zerk for the drum bearing. On the swing gear box, check the oil level through the inspection glass on the side. Oil must be in the middle of the glass. 90 weight oil is used here. We'll now review the superstructure instruments and cab controls. On the left-hand side of the dash, we have the air filter warning light, battery charge indicator light, the hydraulic oil filter light, the engine oil pressure light, and the hydraulic oil filter for control pressure light. Below are the rocker switches for the left and right-hand spotlights. To the left are switches and lights used for options such as battery heaters, water heaters, etc. On the bottom row, left to right, is the dimmer for the instrument panel dash lights. The next switch is for the windshield wiper, followed by the skylight wiper and the washing system. The gauges from the top down are engine oil pressure, engine coolant temperature, and the fuel gauge. The two-position ignition switch on and off. Directly above is the start and stop switch. To the left is the RCI override key switch. To the left of the RCI switch is a socket with a 24-volt supply. Above the RCI switch are several lights. The top left is the RCI shutdown light. To the right of it is the RCI warning light. And the lower left is the anti-two-block switch shutdown warning light. In the center is the RCI plug-in module. To the right in the top row, the first set of lights indicate the condition of the number 1 section. The top light indicates the number 1 section is locked to the base. The lower light indicates the number 1 section is not locked to the base. The next set of lights indicate the condition of the house lock. The upper light indicates the superstructure is not locked to the carrier. The lower light indicates the superstructure is in fact locked to the carrier. The next light in, when illuminated, indicates the crane is in a restricted swing range. The next used section indicates when the counterweight is locked to the superstructure. The upper portion, when illuminated, indicates the counterweight is locked. The lower indicates it is unlocked. It is important to remember that before the crane will operate, these pins must be engaged, with or without the counterweights. In the next row down, we have the rocker switch for locking the number 1 telesection to the base. Beside it is the rocker switch for locking the turntable house lock. Below in the bottom row is the control switch to the critical load control system, which is basically the horsepower limiting circuit. When deactivated, bypasses the circuit and can allow an overload condition to occur to the engine. At the bottom is the wind speed indicator, or better known as the anemometer. On the right-hand side, we have the circular spirit level and the hand throttle. On the floor are 2 foot-operated buttons and a foot throttle. The button closest the door, when depressed, will allow the free movement of the swing gear. This is used primarily to assure the boom is centered over the load prior to making the lift. The second foot-operated button close to the foot throttle is for fast speed of all functions except swing. 3 items you need to remember when using the fast speed. First, if 2 functions are already in operation, the fast speed will not operate. Next, if the fast speed is in use, no other function besides swing can be operated. And to maintain fast speed, the button must be held down. On the left-hand armrest, we have the rocker switch for the swing brake, and beside it is the indicator lamp for the swing brake. Just below the swing brake switch is the 2-hook operation switch. When activated, this allows 2-hook operation, but will not permit use of other functions such as tele or lift. Below the two-hook switch is the auxiliary hoist switch, used to disable the hoist when not in use. The rotary knob shown is used to preset the maximum swing speed, used extensively for longer boom configurations when fine swing control is a must. At the top of the armrest on the right-hand side are indicator lights to indicate a selection has been made to telescope sections 3 and 4, or sections 1 and 2, depending on the position of the rocker switch, to the right of the light. The next two indicator lights down indicate you've selected either the telescope or derricking function controlled by the right joystick. The rocker switch to the right selects the option, and the light indicates which selection is currently activated. The next rocker switch down is used to disable the telescope function when telescoping is not required. The rocker switch to the right of it is used to disable the main hoist when main hoisting functions is not required. The rocker switch at the bottom is used to disable the lift control when the lift function is not required. The joysticks each contain a dead man switch. Without depressing the dead man switch or sitting in the seat, the joystick functions will not operate. The dead man switch is the large square switch on top, which is operated by the thumb. Directly below the dead man on the rear of each stick is the thumb thumper, which indicates when the hoist drum is in motion. On the front of each joystick is the horn button. The left-hand joystick is used to control the auxiliary hoist movement up and down, as well as the swing movement left and right. Prior to operation of the auxiliary hoist rocker switch must be enabled. Moving the lever forward lowers the auxiliary hoist. Moving the lever to the rear raises the auxiliary hoist. Prior to operating the swing function, the house lock must be removed by activating the house lock switch. Secondly, we need to release the swing brake by activating the swing brake release switch. Now the superstructure is free to swing. Maximum swing speed is determined by the dial on the rotary knob. Joystick movement to the left results in left swing. Joystick movement to the right results in right swing. The right-hand joystick is used to control main hoist movement up and down, lift up and down, or tele in and out, depending on setting of selector switch. Prior to operation of the main hoist enable rocker switch must be enabled. Moving the lever forward lowers the main hoist. To the rear raises the main hoist. Prior to operating the lift or tele, the selector switch must be put into the intended function position. First, we'll select lift on the rocker switch, and the lift indicator will light up. With lift selected, all left and right movements of the right-hand joystick will result in corresponding movement in the lift cylinder. Moving the lever to the left will raise the lift cylinder. Moving the lever to the right will lower the lift cylinder. If we wish to operate the telescope function, we need to return to the lift teleselect switch and select telescope. As telescope is selected, not only will the telescope light illuminate, but directly above it will be a light to indicate which sections will be extended. Sections 1 and 2, or sections 3 and 4. If the shown selection is not what the operator desires, the switch directly to the right can be positioned to indicate the desired selection. Now, with the telescope function selected, all left and right movements will result in corresponding movement of the tele sections. Moving the lever to the right will extend the selected boom section. Moving the lever to the left will retract the selected boom section. This concludes the PDI for the superstructure. For more information on your GMK unit, please refer to the manuals provided with the unit.